Well, we called it, folks. September 9th, 2010. UN blueprint, dismantle middle class, build world government. And this was a leaked document obtained by Fox News, in which, and we wrote this last year in this article, quote, "The paper makes it clear that the UN is about to adopt a new public relations ploy in pushing the phony and discredited global warming mantra by rebranding it as the threat of overpopulation." And so now what do we see today? Of course, in the past few days we've had a big outcry over the fact that David Beckham, the football player, has had a fourth child, a baby girl. And of course that is environmentally irresponsible, according to people at the Optimum Population Trust and these control freaks who want us to live in this planned-opolis where only the elite will be able to eat meat, drive cars, have access to areas of the city that the normal plebs won't have access to, because we're all going to be locked up in these freedom ghettos that, if we oppose the New World Order planned-opolis control and regulation system, we're going to be incarcerated in these ghettos. And of course, now we have the article today, David Beckham reignites hypocrisy of overpopulation alarmists. And in this article, I'm basically not making a debate about overpopulation because we've already debunked it as scientific quackery. Of course, the UN's own population figures show that after 2050, the global population declines drastically, and in fact, underpopulation is going to become the major problem. Already in countries like Brazil and India, not just in the West, population is declining. But we've basically got these control freaks which are spearheaded by ultra-rich elitist globalists who are telling the middle class how to live their lives, to have less children, to reduce their living standards, to reduce their carbon footprint. And of course, take a look at these people who are pushing this message. Al Gore, of course, who is the pioneer of the global warming movement, which is now reinventing itself as the overpopulation hoax. And he recently called upon women, this was in the LA Times, to access fertility management in order to stabilize global population, which of course means abortion. Now, Gore, even though he says that overpopulation caused by global warming and carbon emissions is a problem, like the Beckhams, has 4 children of his own, who presumably enjoy the opulence of his $8.8 million seaside mansion in California, of course. Not so worried about those rising sea levels anymore, but he will become the first carbon billionaire because of his fear-mongering over rising sea levels due to global warming. And of course, Al Gore is fine and dandy with the global warming movement because he purchases his carbon credits, the offsets, largely from his own company, of course. Then we have this fella, nice individual, his media publications attackers obsessively on a daily basis, George Soros, of course, who attended the 2009 Billionaires Club Overpopulation Conference, which is also attended by Rockefeller and Warren Buffett and several other individuals who we will come on to. Now, Soros, through the Open Society Institute, issues grants that go to fund abortion, and Soros has also been at the forefront of fear-mongering about overpopulation, telling us, the middle class, we should have less children. Of course, Mr. Soros has 5 children from 2 different marriages. Again, complete hypocrite, just like Al Gore. Let's take a look at another one of these individuals, Warren Buffett. Now, of course, through his Berkshire Hathaway Corporation, donated millions, actually over $1 billion, I think it was from the research, money mainly used to develop drugs that sterilize women and are used to carry out abortions in the third world. And this money has gone to Family Health International, Planned Parenthood, the Population Council and others. And again, despite the fact that after his shareholders actually complained this funding had to be cut off, Buffett was present at this billionaires overpopulation club in 2009 that was reported in the London Times. Again, Mr. Buffett's zeal to reduce overpopulation Doesn't seem to apply to his own personal life. He's got 3 children and travels the globe in luxury in his $6.7 million private jet. Of course, while telling the middle class that they need to reduce their living standards. And now look at this nice fella, Mr. Rockefeller. Just celebrated what? His 95th, his 96th birthday at Bilderberg. He just seems to keep on going and going. It would be nice if Mr. Rockefeller took his own advice, because he seems to have expended his carbon footprint and used up too many resources already. But he's still plaguing us upon this earth. As of course are his 6 children. That's right, Mr. David Rockefeller has 6 children, while giving a speech back in 1992 in which he complained that, and you can watch this on YouTube, it's linked in the article, he complained that the rise of world population was, quote, and its impact was having a detrimental effect on, quote, our planetary ecosystems. But again, Mr. Rockefeller doesn't seem as concerned about the fact that his 6 children are having the same impact. Of course, we move on to Mr. Rothschild, the youngest offspring of this banking dynasty. And of course, he was on the Alex Jones show several years ago spouting absolute crap about global warming, completely unscientific babble. David Mayer de Rothschild, he's become the face of the global warming movement. Of course, the Rothschilds are the owners of the world's leading carbon trading exchange system, so all the carbon offsets that their buddies like Al Gore pay go straight to the Rothschild. And it's a market that's going to be worth $150 billion by next year. So again, the Rothschilds continuing their historical legacy of giant frauds, financial scams and rip-offs, and divesting it into the global warming movement. And of course, the founder of that family, Mayer Amschel von Rothschild, had 10 children. But you can't have a couple of kids, because the carbon footprint is just going to be too much. And here's our friend Mr. Ted Turner, Mr. One-Child Policy. He wants the forced kidnapping, forced drugging and forced abortion of babies, just like they have in communist China, to be implemented in the United States. He continually gives speeches advocating a 95% population reduction. Of course, that could only be achieved through outright genocide. But Mr. Turner thinks there are too many people upon the planet. Of course, he's got 5 kids. Again, you're not allowed to have a baby, but he's got 5 kids of his own. 2 million acres of land. He's one of the biggest private landowners on the planet. And he's another one who attended this 2009 population reduction conference. Then, of course, we have Prince Charles, who says that we can't eat beef, that we can't fly, that we need to reduce our living standards. Meanwhile, he's taking 16,000-mile round trips in luxury converted Airbuses with 14 of his staff at a cost of $500,000, lecturing us about reducing carbon dioxide emissions, lecturing us about reducing our living